What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, and we're back with Friday's installment of Magic for the Working Class, the deck tech series where I make decks for under $100 because, you know, everything is super duper expensive in today's society, and you should still be able to enjoy your hobby regardless of your economic circumstances. And I'm going to be honest with you, I made this one a few days ago, like the actual build, and it already shot up to 100, so I had to re-update to cheapest. So we're back down to 97. Great success. But that kind of shows how much, even when people say buy singles, the secondary market, cards are always spiking nowadays. Now, because we're not getting enough reprints. So if this is a deck that you like, you know, you can always get a list and put it in your favorite card buying site and get the cards there. But before we get into it, if you like my Magic for the Working Class, anything like that, anything else in between, go ahead and if you feel that I've earned it, and only if, feel free to subscribe. But now, without further ado, we have Ygra, Eater of All, and today she's going to eat some foods. Good old Magic for the Working Class. We have ourselves Ygra, Eater of All. Now, most people are familiar with this commander, and the commander itself is eating up a large portion of the budget of this deck, right? For under $100, and 14 of it is going into your commander. And so, Ygra is a 6/6 for 5 with Ward, sack of food, and that seems really weird and very easy, but you're going to go ahead and look at what we have here. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types and have, you know, the food ability. Pay 2, sacrifice this permanent, you gain 3 life. And whenever a food is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 1/1 counters on Ygra. So Ygra is going to get very big, very, very fast. We're going to do food stuff, friends. Lots and lots of food stuff. So today, look at this. We have Academy Manufacturer. If you would create a food, clue, or treasure token, instead create one of each of those tokens. It's very important. We are going to be running things like sacrifice outlets in this deck. So Accursed Marauder, Demon's Disciple, Fleshbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner, Gravelighter, and Plaguecrafter. These are all creatures that have similar versions of the same ability, which is when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature, right? So just playing one of these while your Ygra is out, you are going to potentially get 2, 4, 6, 8 tokens, or not tokens, counters onto your Ygra. We are playing Bane of Progress because it says other creatures are foods. Bane of Progress is when it enters, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. This includes itself. Put a 1/1 counter on Bane of Progress for each permanent destroyed this way. So it will destroy all creatures in play. This is a Wrath of God that will make your Ygra probably just a one-shot on somebody. Very strong. We do have Disciple of Vault. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, you may have target opponent lose 1. Well, since all of your creatures are artifacts and they'll be going to the graveyard, anything that dies that's one of these food creatures is going to ping people for 1, which is pretty nice. We do have a little bit of mana dorkage in here with Elvish Mystic, Land of War Elves, Sakura Tribe Elder, and honestly, Tireless Provisioner, which is landfall. Whenever you a land you control enters, you make a food or a treasure. And if you have Academy Manufacturer out here, you get both. So that's pretty neat. Plus an added little clue token on top of that. We do have Experimental Confectioner, which is when it enters the battlefield, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a food token, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. So this creature, or this deck, does have an infinite in it, right? All you have to do is have a sacrifice outlet, because when it enters, you create a food token, but all the creatures are foods, right? So all you have to do to start this is by sacrificing a food, which then creates a rat, which then you sacrifice, which I can't, yeah, right here. Sacrifice 2 foods. You can, if you have 2 foods, right? This is whenever you sacrifice a food. So sack 2 creatures using this, which are foods, to draw a card, which will generate 2 more rats, which are foods, which you're going to sacrifice to draw a card, and you're going to grow your Ygra as well. Also, Savvy Hunter has whenever it attacks or blocks, you create a food. But more importantly, you're going to be sacrificing these foods. You can draw through as much of your deck as you want. We do have Greta Sweettooth in here, which also you can pay a green to sacrifice a food, so you can use that to just generate more foods that way. You put a 1/1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. You can sacrifice a food, draw a card, and lose a life. We have Mirkwood Bat, so whenever you create or sacrifice a token, we are going to be generating food tokens. People lose 1 life. Peregrine Took. If 1 or more tokens would be created, you create those plus an additional food, sack 3 foods, draw a card. Pizza Face. I have a love-hate relationship with this card. I like its ability, but I find the art disgusting. So good job to Villarte for getting the stuff on this card right. So when it enters, you make food. And as disappear at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, put 3/1 counters on up to 1 target artifact or creature. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 mutant. You can also pay 10 and tap it and sacrifice Pizza Face to gain 15 life. He himself is already a food. There you go. Fun times there. Then we have Rapacious Guest. I call this the Nuke Hobbit. I've killed people with this card. Like, just straight up killed people with this card. It has Menace. It's a 2/2 for 3. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a food, put a 1/1 counter on Rapacious Guest. And when Rapacious Guest leaves the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to its power. Like I said, I've in my Frodo deck, the Frodo and Sam modified precon that I have killed people with this card. And when you have things like Savvy Hunter with Experimental Confectioner, things like that, like your little sack outlets to let you just generate a ton of foods and sacrifice those food creatures for free, growing your Ygra, you're also growing a nuke that as soon as it leaves the battlefield, so exile, sacrifice, anything, it's going to explode and kill someone. We do have Rex Sage, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Since your opponent's stuff's going to be foods, just shoot one of them. Gonna be fun. We do have the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl in here. It is risky, even in a 2-color deck running triple green pips, but generating a ton of squirrels that'll be food, pretty good. Just pretty good. And then we have the Unlucky Cabbage Merchant, which is when this creature enters, create a food. Whenever you sack a food, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield. If you search your library this way, put this creature on the bottom of its owner's library, which is sad. Because otherwise you could just search all of your lands in your deck. I get why they did it, but it would be fun if I got to search all the lands in my deck. Sorceries. We have ourselves Casualties of War. It's a classic. Destroy. You can choose 1 or more. Destroy an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, a land, and a planeswalker. We have Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Many Partings for Ramp. Many Partings just gets the land to your hand, but it makes a food. Knight's Whisper. Draw 2, lose 2. Sign of Blood. Target player draws 2, loses 2. Giant Opportunity. You can sack 2 foods. If you do, you make a 7/7 green giant. Otherwise, you can make 3 foods. I usually just make the 3 foods, to be honest. Languish. All creatures get -4/-4. And then our instants. We have quite a few in here. Assassin's Trophy. Destroy target permanent. The owner of that permanent gets to search for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. Not tapped. That's important. Bake into a Pie. Destroy a creature. Make a food. Corrupted Conviction and Deadly Dispute are both one the sack a creature. Well, Deadly Dispute, you can also sack an artifact. Draw 2 cards, and Deadly Dispute also makes a treasure token. We have Harrow for some ramp. We have Murder. It's going to, do what it says. It's going to murder a creature. We have Nocturnal Hunger. You can gift a food, destroy target creature. If the gift wasn't promised, you lose 2 life. Give them the food. It's fine. Overprotect. Target creature gets +3/+3, trample, hexproof, indestructible until end of turn. This protects your Ygra. Paw Patch Formation. Destroy target creature with flying, destroy target enchantment, or draw a card, create a food. Putrefy, you can destroy target artifact or creature. Rampage of the Clans, and destroy all artifacts and enchantments for each permanent. Destroyed this way, you get a 3/3 Centaur, which will also be a food. Fun times. Return to Nature, destroy target artifact or destroy target enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. Savor, target creature gets -2/-2, you get a food. Nature's Claim, destroy target artifact or enchantment, you gain 4 life. This also just becomes creature removal with Ygra in play. Village Rite, sack a creature, draw 2. Snakeskin Veil, this is protection spell, it gives hexproof till end of turn. And Stew the Conies, which are the rabbits. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control, create a food. It's a bite spell that you can use with your Ygra and generates more food. Artifact. Sorry. Artifacts. We have Golgari Signet, Talisman, Soul Ring, and Arcane Signet. These are our mana ramp because our commander does cost 5, and people do recognize how terrifying of a commander it is. We are running Cauldron of Essence. This card's really interesting, and I really like it. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. So as you're sacrificing your little tokens that you're doing ad infinitum, you're also draining your opponents and gaining life. And you can also pay 3 to sack a creature. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. This card's really good. Like, really good. When I've play tested it in decks that I'm building and, like, stuff that I've made for deck techs, it's really good. Like, very good. Try this card out more, friends. How do some people like play this card more, chat or something? Chitter Spitter. Beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on it. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acorn counter, and then you can tap it to create a green squirrel creature token. For our enchantments, we do have Awakening Zone, which poops out a colorless Eldrazi, which you can use for ramp, and you can just sacrifice them, right? So, you know, if they're foods, you get more. Squirrel Nest, you can tap the land and make a squirrel. These poor squirrels are all emaciated and mutated. That's sad. I have a couple squirrels that live in the oak tree in my front lawn. They're rascally little devils. My daughter loves watching them. Hardened Scales, whenever one or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature, you control it, put that many +1. Heroic Feast, create a food when it enters, and whenever you gain life, choose up to that many creatures you control, put a 1/1 counter on them. We have Moldervine Reclamation, whenever a creature you control dies, gain 1 life, draw a card. And Knight of Sweet's Revenge. When it enters, create a food. Foods you control have tap, add a green mana, and you can pay 7, sacrifice it. Creatures get +X/+X, where X is the number of foods you control, activate only as a sorcery. So this can also be an overrun effect. Lands, we did put the Gingerbread Cabin in here. It makes food. Or when it enters, it makes a food. Rogue's Passage from unblockable, but other than that, pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Alrighty, that is the build. Ygra is pretty straightforward, friends. Now let's see how we do. Alright, we don't have a black source, but we do have stuff we can do. We're going to go ahead and draw for our turn. We're going to drop this forest down. Next turn, we're going to drop this forest down, and we are going to drop our Arcane Signet. Next turn, I'm honestly going to play this Tainted Wood, so we have another black source, colorless, and there. We're going to drop Awakening Zone. Now what this is going to do is start pooping out little Eldrazi's every turn, which are going to be super duper fun and good. Untap, upkeep, we make ourselves an Eldrazi spawn. Look at that. Look at that little guy. Isn't he cute? We're going to play our land. And we could play our... Actually, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to sacrifice this. And we are going to play Ygra. And then for our land for turn, I'm going to return this to my hand and put this Golgari Rot Farm in play. Next turn, we draw. We're going to put Tainted Wood. We get our Eldrazi spawn back. We are going to play with our Rot Farm. Ooh, what do we want to do? I'm going to play Disciple of the Vault. I'm going to swap these guys out over here. Go over here, token. We have 1 floating. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play Knight of Sweet's Revenge. We create a food token. We're going to drop that down there. Foods can tap that a green. So I still have 2 mana available at this time. Well, 3 mana available with the Eldrazi spawn. So we do have stuff we can use with Putrefy at instant speed. But, you know, we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Next turn comes around. We get another Eldrazi spawn. So Ygra doesn't need to grow right away. We do have buttons on board, so we have a whole bunch of stuff that we can do. These are foods, so these are also able to tap for mana. Same with him. I would say that we sit. Now, during an opponent's turn, we're going to go ahead and we are going to stew the conies. 1, 2, 3. And have Ygra fight. Add a counter. Add a counter. So there we go. And then next turn we're going to go. We get ourselves another Eldrazi spawn. We have Murder available to us. We've got lands in hand. You could Bane of Progress, but it's not advantageous at this point, right? Just use our stuff that we have to like keep the board down and use this as a button of last resort, right? So we can go, oh, well, we're going to sacrifice this and then do that and that and that. And we are going to putrefy something. Well, we're going to get 2 counters. We're sacrificing a food. Fun times. And just keep doing stuff like that. And let's see what we draw for the next future. See, we got the Academy Manufacturer, which then, you know, if you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, it's a token in addition to its other types. So I don't know how this interacts. If somebody knows, because I haven't had this particular thing come up in an actual game. If I have Academy Manufacturer and I create an Eldrazi spawn, but the Eldrazi spawn is a food and it is a token, let me know. Although it's not named food token. So I'm guessing it doesn't work. But, you know, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Ygra. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.